World Liberty Financial, the Trump-backed decentralized finance protocol, just borrowed $75 million against its own token. And that's on a platform where one of the advisors is the co-founder. And that's the reason why WLFI is doing so poorly. One bad news comes after the other. Last week we had Justin Sun, the founder of Tron, suing World Liberty Financial over freezing his WLFI tokens. And now we've got a token unlock proposal that's very controversial, and the bad news don't stop. Hi, my name is Gerhard. I'm in crypto for the last 8 years. I started this channel 5 years ago, and 3 years ago I hit my first million. In this video, I want to share the approaches how I outperform the markets. On average, I've been outperforming buying and holding Bitcoin by roughly 2% per month. That's then how that looks like over time, and that's then how that looks like with additional contributions regularly. We started a copy trading pool that outperformed Bitcoin last year. Here's the average profit by an investor in that pool. And this year we are making money again, on track of returning roughly 40% per annum, just like last year. Now it seems like the insiders of World Liberty Financial are cashing out again. The team deposited 11 million WLFI, so a bit under a million to Bybit. And those tokens were unlocked a week ago. Here is the WLFI price over time in US dollars. Here's the same versus the altcoin market cap. And here's the same versus Bitcoin. The decline is clearly accelerating. And while the stablecoin of the project has 4.5 billion of market cap, the project itself only has 2 billion, down from initially 7 billion. Now the price discovery does actually not happen on the spot market. Yes, there is constant selling pressure by the team, but there's also bets on the price. And that's what sometimes causes rallies. When too many people are betting on falling prices, this can induce short squeezes, thus very quick rallies in the price that subsequently deflate again. Have a look at the trading volume on the spot market in the last 24 hours. We had only 15 million, and that's on Bybit, but on the perpetual futures market we had 110 million worth of trading volume. So much more bets on the price than actual spot trading. Now most of the time those short-term traders are betting on falling prices of WLFI. But when there's too many, we tend to see little short squeezes. This here is the funding rate. When this is red, that means that most people are betting on falling prices. When that's green, most people are betting on rising prices. So this is the ratio of longs to shorts. We tend to be somewhat balanced in the last weeks. The amount of bets on WLFI is relatively low with 200 million. So relative to the market cap, it's not necessarily worth it to squeeze out the shorts right now. Thus, a quick rally just based on the short-term speculation is rather unlikely. The trading volume on the perpetual futures is also pretty low. So the selling pressure seems to be clean selling pressure. It's not just short interest that will get covered quickly. Now, can we somehow time this potentially to buy low and sell high? Let's have a look at World Liberty Financial versus Bitcoin. So that ratio, and let's look for the best simple moving average. Here's the result. It's the 10-day simple moving average. And even without leverage, that would have outperformed buying and holding the token massively. Also, the maximum drawdown is much, much lower. This is then how that looks like over time. So this is the portfolio measured in WLFI. Here is the portfolio measured in US dollars. And we're simply going long. Whenever the price is above the moving average, we go short. When we are below, the 10-day simple moving average historically worked the best on the price of WLFI relative to Bitcoin. And we are of course still short, but this also means that we would still be short even if the price was to rally by say 11 or 12% from here, which I don't think is a likely scenario, but it does make sense to just follow the trend in this asset. And again, the 10-day simple moving average historically worked the best. That's what we get from our backtesting. By the way, you also get access in premium to that backtesting tool. You can backtest all kinds of assets. You can backtest assets versus other assets. You can look for indicator combinations, for leverage optimization, for regression. It feels like a never-ending treasure trove of statistical analysis that we can actually determine the trading rules that historically worked better and just randomly guessing the market. And so that's how I go about crypto trading in general. I don't try to find the one winner that outperforms the rest. I rather bet on the market structure, and most altcoins tend to go down over time. So does WLFI, but so do many other tokens for the same reason, because insiders and early investors cash out. And that's how we generate the long-term alpha. So this here is no magic. This is simply just taking advantage of the market structure and being in the same boat as all of those insiders and early investors. It's simply flipping this chart around, right? Everything that's red becomes green, everything that's green becomes red. We bet on falling prices of altcoins, and we bet on rising prices of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana relative to those altcoins. For example, here where we did the exact same thing for BitTensor, it rallied massively. Then we waited for a def cross. So when two moving averages crossed, that was historically the best two moving averages for BitTensor, the 6-day and the 15-day. And we have just closed that position in roughly, 19% gains. And so bit by bit, we make money with that strategy in the automatic copy trading pool as well. So if you don't want to execute the trades yourself, you can just deposit into that pool. For that though, you have to be an annual subscriber, not just a monthly subscriber. And so that's the same approach for World Liberty Financial. I'm rather betting on falling than on rising prices. I am looking though for a better entry opportunity. If we suddenly see a rally, which I don't anticipate, but if we do, then I'm looking for a short. I'm not trying to buy the bottom here. I'm not trying to catch a falling knife and then get hurt in the process. I think that's the wrong way. Too many people lost their money trying to buy apparently cheap altcoins. Just because something went down doesn't mean it can't go further down. Again, if all the insiders cash out all the time, it's very hard for a price to long-term recover. If you got some value out of this video, feel free to give this a like. Feel free to also subscribe. I publish videos regularly. See you next time here on YouTube, or see you on Premium as well. Cheers!